Born to roam. I love to travel.
This is Solo Travel Talk. Your solo travel advisor is Astrid Clements.
Are the holidays the best time to solo travel to a fun destination? Now, we're not talking about traveling to relatives or heading back to the place where you grew up. Destination holiday travel is all about making a journey to a wonderful place and celebrating your holiday away. I'm producer Katherine O'Brien. Your solo travel advisor, Astrid Clements, is going to share her merry and bright perspective about making holidays in a glorious destination.
Well, before I get into the reasons, I just want to share that this particular broadcast will focus really on the end of the year holiday season. You know, in the United States, we celebrate a lot of holidays: Easter, Labor Day, Memorial Day holiday, 4th of July. In Louisiana, we celebrate Mardi Gras for, the week before Ash Wednesday. So I won't really be talking about travel during all of the holiday seasons. We'll just talk about the ones that are all of my ideas for the end of the year, which, are basically Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year. One of what I think is one of the biggest reasons to travel solo during this time of year is really most everywhere. It is a beautiful time of year. People are in a festive mood, and it's just, people are winding their year down, and so they're really wanting to just have a good time. So there are a lot of things that are different during this holiday, during this time of the year to travel. So it is really a different travel experience, and it's something that I love to do. I try to do it at least every other year, travel during this season. Some of the destinations specifically, like New York City and Paris, they are the most beautiful to me at this time of year. Sometimes it's snowing, and that makes it even more wonderful or more atmospheric, but they're full regalia with lights. The storefronts are just beautifully decorated. The stores are packed. People are out and about. There are all different kinds of things that you can do, whether it's Christmas concerts or Christmas markets, etc. So it's beautiful. And talking about the Christmas markets, Vienna and Budapest and Prague and some of the European bigger cities, those are just beautiful times of year to go to because people really do enjoy it. You'll see gorgeous ethnic crafts that are brought there that you don't see during the year. There are specific types of foods that they drink, that they eat and drink during the year, like glue wine, and in Germany, what's called Lebkuchen, which is kind of like a Christmas gingerbread cookie. Oh God, Lebkuchen is so good. But Christmas time really is a beautiful time of the year in a lot of places in the world. So that's really probably the biggest reason to go. And then, because of this feeling, I always feel like that if you ever want to feel like a kid again, or you want to have those feelings that you had when you were younger and things were easier and you didn't have all the responsibilities and whatever, the mood kind of forces you or makes you have those kind of feelings, those memories that you had. That's probably the biggest reason why I like it, because there's just festivity in the air. Then also, for people who love to shop, let me tell you something. Christmas time is the best time of year to shop, unless you want to shop on sale. Because all the retailers, this is where they really make most of their money is at this time of the year. So the stores are packed. And really, the merchandise is everything that's cool or beautiful or whatever is out there to entice you. So if you like to shop, this is a great time to travel, because the stores all over are all like that. Then, of course, during this time of year, most all businesses and people really start winding down around December the 14th. And I say this, but this is more so during or in the countries where they do celebrate a Christian Christmas. Now it's different in the Far East, etc., but they still kind of wind down at the end of the year too. A lot of businesses, you have more opportunity to take a longer trip because, you have the automatic days off, and then maybe you can also take some of your travel days or your vacation days at this time of the year. So it is an opportune time to possibly take as much of a 2-week vacation for somebody who, still works, etc. So that's another good reason because, time-wise, you can carve out more days in order to travel. Then the different cultures all over the world, they do celebrate Christmas with their own kind of stamp on it. In Europe, they love Christmas concerts. So you have all of these concerts that go on in churches and different theaters, etc. And it's just beautiful. I remember one Christmas I went to Budapest. Oh, it was just beautiful. They had several concerts that I went to. There was a string quartet concert, and then there was a kind of a Christmas show concert in another palace, basically. And then there was a beautiful river cruise down the Danube that had, a Christmas theme to it, and just the lights of Budapest in the nighttime, especially the Parliament, etc. It's just a magical time of the year. So the different cultures in the different countries celebrate it with a little bit of a different twist to it. So that's very what I consider interesting, or it makes your Christmas experience not like you would experience it totally at home. So that, I think, is a very good reason. And then also, like during New Year's Eve, there are so many celebrations and different types of parties that you can go to, entertainment with full dinners before it, and just really get you in the mood to bring in the new year. And I know it sounds a little like, why would I want to do that traveling solo? Well, let me tell you, there are a lot more people who are traveling solo now, and they do it during this time of year. So, don't think you're going to be the only person there that's solo. And, there are a lot of different things that you can do that would make you feel more comfortable in doing it. But I know one time I went to Vienna, and, every New Year's Eve they have the big Viennese ball.
Ooh.
Well, there are a lot of people that go there and they go solo because you're asked to dance by different people. I didn't go totally solo. My daughter wanted to go because she had always heard of the Viennese ball. But they have different party rooms, etc. And there are a lot of people that are solo there, and they're solo from all ages. It's not just older people. They're younger people, and they have a beautiful show, and the music is it's just gorgeous. Now, it's a throwback in time for the most part in the ballroom. They do have a couple of little parties that have more like DJs and that kind of thing. But it is a beautiful thing, and you can buy tickets to go. There are a lot of different things that go on in different countries during New Year's Eve that are really fun to do, and they're organized and
sort of well established and all those.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be a memory. Like I know, I was in St. Petersburg, Russia, one New Year's Eve, and what I decided to do at my hotel, beautiful, the Belmont Grand Europe Hotel, they had a show and a party before the show in the inner courtyard, which is a beautiful area. And one of the things that they do in Russia is they will, on New Year's Eve at some parties per se, they will let balloons fly out, and then the balloons drift down, and you're to pick your balloon, and in your balloon is your wish for the new year. There are all kinds of different things like that. And, when you experience the holiday season in a different place, I mean, you're going to have some really unique memories that, it makes it worth traveling and going through the hassle of traveling during this season. If you're single, widowed, divorced, or whatever, this might be a time where you tend to be a little bit more, I don't want to say the blues can kind of creep in.
Feelings.
Yeah, but you do. You think about, well, I don't have my family here, or everybody's got their families. But if you go somewhere else and you have a lot of things to do and you're just absorbing a new place, it's a good way to spend that time during a season where if you'd stay home, maybe you'd be a lot more in not as happy space, I guess you would say. And if you don't want to go pure solo, they've got now great Christmas cruises for people who like to cruise. The riverboat cruises have become gorgeous. I mean, they really, because they can go more into the inner parts of the countries. And, lots of them will take you to a lot of different things that focus around celebrating the Christmas season in a different culture. And then, of course, you have your Christmas tours, and most of those tours do focus on Christmas markets, and similar to the river cruises, but, you're not on a boat, and you're could be packing and unpacking if you're going to different places. But those are also good alternatives if you don't want to just go somewhere pure solo and stay in Paris for that week or whatever. This is you'll have people around and you'll definitely meet people, and there's lots of things to do, and I think it's a good choice if you like doing that. And you don't have to cook. If you do have family or whatever, and you're the one that they want to do everything, this is the way you could get out of it.
I did not consider that reason. That's a pretty good reason.
So I'd say probably, this is a great way to garner some really, really special solo travel memories, is to travel during this season.
There's a little bit of magic, a little bit of excitement. It's like all this little alchemy of all those fun things.
Yeah.
And no cooking.
It is. I'm telling you.
Yeah, okay.
Because everywhere you go that is really just ready for Christmas, there is a more excitement in the air. More people are out and about, and, they're winding their year down,
Yeah.
and they're celebrating.
Well, and even just with your description of the New Year's Eve celebrations, I was thinking I would never go to something like that in my own town, but if I were traveling, it would suddenly seem like an exciting thing to celebrate, New Year's Eve. Sometimes, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. I mean, really and truly, I had never thought about the Viennese ball, but my daughter thought, she read about it. She said, Mama, this would be so fun to go to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was fun.
Yeah.
It really was. It was I think we got there by carriage.
Oh.
I mean, all kinds of stuff. I know to some people it might be a little bit too much or corny, but it wasn't. It was just kind of like it was a throwback of time and something that was very Austrian.
Yeah.
And just it was a beautiful memory. Okay.
So, Astrid, what are your suggestions for places that would be a wonderful holiday destination? You kind of hinted at some of them, but maybe tell us a little bit about what really makes a place a good candidate for spending a solo holiday.
Well, okay. I'm going to answer the second question first. First of all, there are certain destinations that I consider to be more solo friendly, and there are reasons for this. The first reason is what's in everybody's mind is I want to go to a safe place. I don't want to have to deal with anything that would make me feel afraid. Then another thing that makes a place what I consider solo friendly is obviously there's lots of things to see and do, and especially during this time of year, your dining options. You want to have low end and high end, and you want to be able to do things and eat things that are kind of Christmassy or celebrating this time of year. So you want to have a lot of options. You don't want to just go somewhere where the more options the better. That's what I should say. Oodles of good shopping. If you like to shop, that will make your solo destination even more fun. Walkable or good mass transit. Then also, is it affordable? I mean, you can go to some places and you order a cup of coffee and you go, oh, this costs $18? I mean, there are places that, there are very expensive versus other very interesting, beautiful places that are very affordable. So to me, if a place is affordable, I consider it more solo friendly, just because you're the only one paying the bills. So I always look for that. And then if you like museums, if you're into art, if there's a big focus on it and a lot of museums, that is a draw for somebody who is into that. Or you enjoy parks and gardens and flora and fauna, or those kinds of things, botanical gardens. A lot of times the botanical gardens are just beautifully done during Christmas time. Like in New York City, fabulous. And I can imagine in London, the Kew Gardens, they're probably fantastic. I haven't been during Christmas. So, if you like that, think about, does this destination have a lot of those gardening focuses or, parks and that kind of thing? Because they're typically like Central Park, it's just even more wonderful during Christmas time. Of course, the all types of entertainment. The more that they are celebrating Christmas, whether it's in the churches or in the palaces or in theaters, you have those options to go to. And it's very easy. Don't feel like if you just go to the theater by yourself that you're going to feel, just like somebody who doesn't have anybody to go with. Get your concierge to arrange for a taxi to take you there and to pick you up when it's over. So all you have to do is get there. It's arranged for you. You enjoy what you are experiencing, and then you're picked up and taken back. It's wonderful. I've done it so many times, and I don't ever feel like I didn't have somebody to go with me. Now, maybe I would have preferred that in certain circumstances. In other circumstances, it doesn't matter at all. So, go to a place where there is a lot of variety of entertainment, if those are the things that you like to do. Now, even if you're not geared to that, I suggest you do one or two things. Just push yourself, because I must say, every time I go to some kind of entertainment, unless it's really poor quality, I'm always so energized when I get out, because there is some kind of more concentrated energy, and these actors and performers are really sharing their talent and their heart and soul, and everybody's, experiencing it, and it's life-giving. So, I suggest do it. If you're not into ballet, it doesn't matter. Go to the Nutcracker. I know in Budapest, that was one of the things that we did, is we went to the Nutcracker. And we had a gorgeous box seat. I think it cost us $25. Oh, yeah, it was very inexpensive. Budapest is very affordable. And you get a very elegant experience during this time of year in Budapest. But the Nutcracker was gorgeous in Budapest, and I've seen it in different places in the world. But it was a memory for me. And we met another gentleman. He was also in our box with his little girl, and it was just it was a special night. So even if you don't like ballet, you will like it in some of these places because the theaters are so magnificent and the performances are so high quality. So a lot of entertainment does make a place, I think, more solo friendly to give you options to do, especially in the evening. So basically, you want to go to somewhere that just has a vibrant culture. And to me, ideally, a culture that is dissimilar to what you experience. Or maybe not totally, but for the, it does have a real different twist, because those will be very vivid memories to you versus that if it's kind of the same thing that you do at home. And then the last thing is just easy to get to. If you can fly somewhere in a direct flight and this is where you want to go and it's in your budget, it's much better to do that, because this is the high peak travel season, and let me tell you, you got to really be prepared for, lots of people in the airports and just a lot of things going on. So, it's better to, if you can, is to travel somewhere with a direct flight. Next, you asked me the list of the great holiday destination for the solo travelers, and I have broken it up basically in two categories: U.S. and non-U.S. places, because there's so many wonderful places in the United States that are different than how they celebrate Christmas in Santa Fe. Has a completely different twist than what you will experience in New Orleans. So there's a lot of variety that you can even experience in the United States. And these particular places that I'm going to share, I think have really, they're just really special.
Cool. What's it?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, New York City. To me, still the most fabulous city in the world. I mean, I love Paris to death, but New York City at this time of year is at its peak. I mean, the lights, Rockefeller Center with the ice skating, the big Christmas tree, the Rockettes show, the theaters, all of the storefront windows. You'll hear the little bing, 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 and everybody. I mean, the streets are just bustling with activity. The chestnut sellers. I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, even if you don't buy anything and you just walk and get some hot chocolate, it is beautiful to be in New York City. So, I think that if this is something that is in your budget, because New York is expensive, it's great. And the hotels at this time of year are really decked out in just a beautiful way. So, if you want magic in the air, New York has got it. Okay. Then, say you want to go down south. Now, I'm from Louisiana, and we have a lot of traditions down here. We love to decorate. We love to eat. We're fun-loving. There's music all around. So, Charleston is a beautiful place to go to during Christmas, as well as New Orleans, because it's got gorgeous architecture, different areas of the city with fabulous old homes, and these people decorate them beautifully. They have home and garden tours during this season. A lot of times, I mean, they even open it up with refreshments in there. It's beautiful. There's caroling in the streets. In New Orleans, I mean, the French Quarter is alive with all their different, music venues, and it is a beautiful time. I mean, you'll hear Christmas caroling from children's choirs all over. In New Orleans, there's a hotel called the Roosevelt Hotel.
I was hoping you'd mention that one.
They have this beautiful lobby that goes from one street to another. It's a very famous lobby. But during Christmas time, they light it up. And everybody who lives in New Orleans or is downtown or people who are traveling there that know about it, they just have to sashay through this lobby and take a photograph because it is beautifully decorated with lights and everything. It's kind of like a thing everybody does.
It's a little tradition. Yeah.
It is truly. So, and Savannah's quite beautiful too at this time of year. So if you want kind of a Southern Christmas, I think those are three great cities to consider. Then if you don't want anything, if you want something completely different, go to Miami Beach or Miami. Miami is wonderful during this time of year. I've done it several times. One time I stayed on Fisher Island, which is this very exclusive island that, you have to be admitted to. And I'll never forget, I was at they have this little bar that's right on the Atlantic. And I was with my husband at this time, and we went out, we had a drink, and I turned around, and oh my God, there was Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf with their small child. And so, of course I said hello, and, I introduced myself, but this is a very, very posh place. This is not what I call affordable luxury. But Miami at this time of year is wonderful because the climate is so wonderful. So if you don't want cold, you want the beach, you want to just kind of relax and sun and sand, go to Miami. I've spent the holiday season, 2 years ago, my husband and I, we went to the Fontainebleau, and I'm talking about my husband and I, but you can do this solo too. The Fontainebleau Hotel has been completely redone about 6 years ago, maybe 7. And it is exquisite now. I think they spent about $1 billion on the renovation. Oh no, the pool area. I mean, I think there's like 13 different pools. It's the movie set. And then New Year's Eve, they had Justin Bieber concert. And it was Live Miami or whatever. I mean, it is so, you don't have to go anywhere but stay at the Fontainebleau Hotel. They have fabulous restaurants, some of the best in Miami, the beautiful beach. So Miami's great. And then you have Little Havana if you want to experience a little Cuban twist to Christmas. I love Little Havana. I always go down there. I love the Cuban food and the ice cream, and they've got some great shops now, and so that's fun. And then the Design District. This is a brand new area that they're taking an older inner city area that had a lot of warehouses, etc. At first, it was kind of started with a lot of graffiti, and this one gentleman, he wanted to help kind of starving artists, and then a couple of other people got real interested, and then they decided, well, we're going to just take this portion of that area, and we're going to really spend some money and do a lot of very good urban planning and really revitalize it. It is fabulous. First of all, the shopping now is unbelievable. It's kind of debasing the Bal Harbor shops. I mean, if you want the best of the best, the Design District in Miami is wonderful. And then you have all these art galleries that is so much fun if you like art. Even if you don't want to buy anything, you can go in and out. And then they have beautiful home showrooms, and it's a whole different it's all the different arts that are in there. They have a lot of also dance things that did collaborative things that go on there. It's very vibrant because the gentleman who has done it, and I forgot his name, I did do a blog post on the Miami Design District. So if you go to astridtravel.com, my website, and hit on the blogs and just search for Miami, you'll see it.
I'll put a link in the show notes so people can go right to it.
Yeah, but he was very much into that. He wanted all different levels of society and culture to be able to share their creative talents. Wow. So he does a lot of things that are collaborative events. So there's things going on over there all the time. So it's very upscale, but it's also very inclusive. It's very different. The concept is very well thought out. So that's a very special place in the United States if you like creativity, and it's just really taking hold. I think it'll take about another 5, maybe 6 years to really get enough critical mass, but it's definitely should be on your list if you like that kind of thing. And then of course they have art museums, great shopping in Miami. You know, Miami has always been a place where people shop. For Latin Americans come there, and people from Europe, they have condos. I mean, the shopping, if you want shopping, and it's all kinds of shopping, whether it's outlet malls or designer discount or high end or ethnic, you know, with the Cuban merchandise and different kind of more Latin American things. It's there. So Miami's fun if you want a completely different type of holiday experience. Then there's always Vegas. Vegas is a good place to go during the holidays because it's small. You have everything there from the low end to the high end. And if you just want to sit and be entertained and eat and here again shop, but just relax, Vegas is a good place to go. And it's pretty affordable. You know, I mean, for what you get, it's very affordable. Then some of the smaller places in the United States that I think are nice to go to during the holidays, Key West. A lot of people don't think about that, but Key West is rocking during this time of year, especially New Year's Eve. If you want a little bit more of a sedated but very upscale, West Palm Beach, close to Miami. And I've done this before. I'll rent a car and go down to Miami for the day or whatever, or Fort Lauderdale. But West Palm Beach, beautiful. And they have gorgeous, places to eat, and it's sedate, but it's a very special place, I think, in the United States. If you like that kind of thing. If you want hiking, that's not the place to go. Then Aspen and Vail. That's both of those places are beautiful. Now they'll be more expensive because this is their high season, but still they are beautiful, and they're smaller. And the last is Scottsdale. Scottsdale, I love Scottsdale. And this time of year, it's wonderful. And here again, it's smaller, but you've got a lot of very nice things that you can do and see, and hotels to stay in. So those are my U.S. destinations. Now, my non-U.S. destinations, the first one is Quebec. If you want a white Christmas and you want cold weather, go to Quebec. Quebec is beautiful, especially the old part of Quebec. Very walkable, wonderful food. You know, it has the French stamp in it and the influence. So you really get you feel like you're kind of in France. Not totally, but you do. And it's beautifully lit up, and there's a special feeling in Quebec at this time of year. I think more so than any time for Quebec. So, and it's very walkable. So that is one place that I think people don't think about enough. So that's one. Second one is San Miguel de Allende. San Miguel was just highlighted by Travel and Leisure as the top destination city to go to. San Miguel is just a beautiful place. It's small. So if you want a Mexican Christmas experience, Feliz Navidad, go to San Miguel. Full of art galleries and artists and ethnic markets, great food. They have some very interesting Meso-Mexican kind of Yucatan things that you can do. There's some pyramids on the outskirts. San Miguel is a very special place. There's a lot of jewelers, not jewelers, but people who make jewelry, especially silver jewelry. And there's a big expat community there. So it's very friendly for the English-speaking tourist. Very affordable. So I think San Miguel is a beautiful place to go to during Christmas. And the next, if you want those Christmas markets, Budapest, Vienna is fabulous, and Prague. Budapest, I think, is probably the most affordable. Prague is right in there, too. Vienna's more expensive. But all three of them, this is a great time to go. And their markets are just fantastic. I mean, I will never forget some of the ethnic goods that I saw there. Like, there was one booth that had the most beautiful candles I have ever seen. And what they did was this particular, I think it was a couple who made these candles, but they made these pastel candles and they put rose petals and different flower petals and flowers in the wax candles. Oh, I mean, I can't describe how beautiful they are, on the show, but just things like that. You would never, it would be rare that you would see some of these types of things in stores because they only make a small amount of them, but they are beautiful, one of a kind. And you see a lot of this because a lot of it goes back to their traditions, whether it's their crocheting or they're making things from birch wood but they do a lot of things with weaving of reeds. Like they'll make flowers and crosses. Like in Budapest, I bought this beautiful cross that was weaved out of some kind of wheat stalk. Oh, wow. And it was like braided and everything. Oh, you won't see that anywhere. It's people who, these are traditional things that have been carried down or been done through the years. So the markets are lots of fun, and typically there's not things that are very expensive. So that makes it even more fun. Well, in going back to Budapest, I liked it so much. I have to share a couple other things. If you like wine, I mean, my word, the wine in Budapest, especially the white wine, is so wonderful. The alcohol content is not that high, so you can drink it, 1, 2, 3 glasses, and you do not get tipsy. So it's so enjoyable to have a long meal and to have more than one glass of wine, worrying that you or you might have a headache the next day. No, it is wonderful. And they are so inexpensive. I think the wine is cheaper than water there. So if you like wine and you like eating and you like going out where you'll have a string quartet or, some kind of live music, it's all over Budapest. And then they have, too, those salt baths. Budapest was one of the reasons why it became a city or a destination was they have these healing or curative salt baths. And a lot of people like to go there and immerse themselves in it. So they have a lot of different spa activities that you could do. So if you like spas too, so Budapest is a great place. I mean, it has so much to do and it is very affordable. The next one is one of the big kahunas, is Paris. I mean, Paris at Christmas, I mentioned it at the beginning of the show, and I'm so excited. I'm getting ready to go there, leave on Thanksgiving Day for a week. all focused on fashion and just kind of getting our look redone. And then of course the food. We're gonna do a Michelin food tour. We've got a list of the different restaurants we want to go to, and we're gonna go to the Impressionist Museum and Saint-Chapelle and different things, a couple of different things. Well, and of course the shopping. One of the ladies loves vintage shopping, and oh my God, Paris is just fabulous for vintage shopping. So we'll be sauntering down the Champs-Elysees, everything during this wonderful time of year, because I have been to Paris in this time of year, and the lights of Paris are beautiful. They, all of their sculptured trees, they put all these gorgeous lights on them, and just like New York City, the store windows, and, everybody's just, has a little bit of a more pep in their step. So I'm so excited to go to Paris again during this time of year. But Paris in general at this time of year is fabulous. I mean, it's always fabulous, but I think it's even more so fabulous during this time of year because it's just all lit up, and it is a city of lights. So this is really when they're lit up. So that is a great place to go. But you have to be wanting to go somewhere like this because it is a big city, overwhelming. And if you're not in the right mood, it could be too much. So, and just like Paris, but maybe not quite as she, and I shouldn't say this because I love England and I love London, but London is a wonderful place too. If you don't want to go somewhere where they don't speak English, London is your place. And it's easy to get to from the United States. There are a lot of very affordable flights. The shopping is unbelievable. I love Portobello Market, and they do this every Saturday. Do not miss that, and especially at Christmas. Oh my gosh. This is an area of London that they've had these markets, I think, for like 400 years, and there's antiques and jewelry and costume jewelry and clothes and electronics, and I mean, there's anything you want to buy, and it's from vendors that have been there for years, or it's been handed down through families. I mean, they have a whole area where they only sell silver. And I've bought jewelry there before. And really the prices can be extremely affordable because they will deal with you. So London, I think, is here again, a beautiful place. They've got so many concerts, too, going on in London, especially in the churches. London loves to sing and to carol and that old feeling. A lot of, what we in the United States on the East Coast and somewhat in the South do. It's a throwback to England. And so you get a little bit more of a purity there. But it's a beautiful, beautiful city to travel to during this time of year. Now, I have to warn you, it can be very cold in terms of feeling cold because it rains there a lot and it's damp and it can snow. Just be forewarned that, you'll need to maybe bring your galoshes, or you're going to have to layer. And, I know that when I went, within the second day, I got the flu. I mean, it just, I have bad sinuses, but it just started. So the first couple of days I was a little bit under the weather, but I perked up after a while. But you can expect that going to London. Okay. A couple of other destinations that are non-U.S. that I haven't been to, but I've read so many things about them, and I think they would be a good choice if you want their slant on this time of year. And some of these places really are not Christian, and they don't celebrate the Christmas specifically. Christmas is probably you'll see it, but it's not part of their culture per se. The first one is Cape Town, Iceland, Marrakesh. Oh, I bet Marrakesh would be great. If you don't want Christmas and you just want to go somewhere, oh my gosh. And this is the off season to go to Marrakesh per se. Well, it's not totally off season because it's not real hot, and that's the off season. But They've got some great direct flights there from New York City, Air Maroc, Royal Air Maroc, and it's very affordable business class and very nice experience. But Marrakesh is just a wonderful place to go to. Tokyo, now that would be a little bit more expensive, but I would think that it would be a real fun place to go to at this time of year. And then Southeast Asia, Vietnam and Thailand, lots of people go there during the holiday season.
I've heard of a lot of people vacationing that they do their Christmas in Thailand, or they pick Southeast Asia this time of year.
Yeah, and it's wonderful. I mean, I love both of those areas. And then last, I said I hadn't been to there, but I have been to Vietnam and Thailand. But the last is Australia and New Zealand. People talk about that. It's also safe and fun. It's a little bit farther to get to. You're going to need a minimum of 2 weeks if you go to either one of those. But, if you can carve out that time, I think this is a good time of year.
I always get a kick out of the people in Australia, the pictures of people celebrating Christmas on the beach because it's their summer. The Christmas time is their summer. It's really adorable.
Yeah, and you need to think that way. I mean, because, here in the United States, it's our winter, but, on the other side of the equator.
You got surfing Santa.
Yeah. So those are my holiday destinations that I think a solo traveler really can create some really good memories, and it'd be worth doing.
Regular listeners of the show know that you are a travel budgeting maven. What impact does the holiday season have on trip expenses?
Well, unfortunately, this really is the most expensive time of year to travel, I think. I mean, summer season to some places can be expensive too, but the airlines and the hotels, especially the ones that are keyed to American travelers, I mean, it's hard to really get deals. So you have to start early with whatever you're doing. I mean, the hotel rates are more, some of the airlines, it just depends on when you book it. Even the parking garages in the airports will charge extra fees. So, unfortunately, it's more expensive, I think, to travel during this time of year, unless you pick a destination that really is very affordable. I mean, if you go to Bali or Vietnam, and even St. Petersburg, Russia, I've done that. This is an off season because people typically don't go to Russia.
It's freezing, yeah.
Well, but it's not. If you bring the right clothing, it is fun. There's nothing wrong with it. You get used to it. It's amazing. People live there. They work there. Yeah. Well, we live in Louisiana, but no, really, and it's a beautiful time of year there. So, but number one, talking about budgets, it's expensive. So you're going to have to figure out how much you're willing to spend and then decide where you're going to go accordingly and how many days you basically should stay away, etc. And then, this is such a high peak season of travel, the most, that, there are a lot of snafus that happen. And when the snafus happen, if you miss your flight or, there's some kind of logistical issue, anything that's a snafu will cost you money. And when there's more people around, there's more things that can go wrong. Then even the concert and the theater tickets, the entertainment, they're expensive. I mean, they put an extra little commission and everything on top of it. I mean, some of those special New Year's Eve dinners or Christmas entertainments that I've talked about, anywhere from $100 to $500 a ticket. So they're expensive, but they're worth it. I mean, maybe you might not want to spend $500. It just depends on what is offered. Just be warned that your typical entertainment and the things that you want to do surrounding Christmas-oriented things can be a lot more expensive. Okay, so here are my money-saving tips for solo holiday getaway. book early. Just that is the number one thing. If you can book 3 months out, that's great. The earlier you book, the better. Bundle. Book your hotel and your airfare minimum together. I like to use Expedia, Booking.com, but when you bundle them, you can save anywhere from 10 to 30, 35%, depending on when you do it, how early you book, etc. So by minimum, bundle those two things. Next is travel days. If you can travel or you're willing to travel on Christmas or on Thanksgiving, it's a lot cheaper. When I'm going to Paris, I'm traveling on Thanksgiving Day because it's a lot cheaper than if you go 2 or 3 days before that holiday and 2 or 3 days after. If you travel on the day, you save considerably. So bottom line is avoid the peak travel days, and those are usually the 2 or 3 days before and the 2 or 3 days after. Then also, I have found that Wednesday to Wednesday or Friday to Friday weeks are usually the most affordable in terms of hotel rates and airfares. It just always works that way. I would think Friday wouldn't be. Wednesday sounds it. But for some reason, Friday to Friday, I guess people are already doing something or whatever, but the stats show that. So consider those that type of week when you plan. Weigh your bags before you leave. Now let me tell you something. These overweight baggage fees now are becoming like a new disease. They're even weighing, some of the airlines are weighing your carry-on. And if it weighs too much, they will slap you with something. So weigh your bags before. Know what those limits are. And get a little scale. Like I have a marketplace now on my website. And in the section called Astrid Travel Essentials, we have an inexpensive scale that is very good that I suggest. It's an essential. I mean, I think anybody who travels and travels solo should have one. So you can protect yourself from these fees, because if you get to the airport and your bag is overweight, they're going to charge you $50, $75. It depends on how long the flight is or whatever. You've got it when you're going, you get it when you're coming back. And then, if you have the scale, even if you're not overweight when you're going, say you buy too much, you buy a couple of books. Oh, a couple of books will put it over in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Big coffee table books, which I love to buy. And then I have to put them, in my tote or carry on, and it's just knocking my shoulder out. But I have the scale, and I know whether it's too much. And then I can decide, well, should I just ship this home? If I ship it home, I get the concierge to help me mail the things home. It's cheaper than the weight baggage fee. So get that little scale and make a habit of using it. Okay, just back to this old money thing and budgeting. Just do create a budget for the trip. I have a really good budget that I have put together. It's on my website, and it helps you create a pre-trip budget, and then when you come home, you can compare it to what you actually spent. But it helps you to manage the money that you're going to need, and not help you from overspending by doing this exercise. I mean, I'm a firm believer. If you write something down, it's just really kind of, I don't want to sound goofy, but it's kind of magical how it just kind of, it ends up working like that. Another thing is choose your destination based on your mood. I talked about Paris, but here again, if you don't feel like a big city and everything, and you just, you want to go and kind of veg out or whatever, pick a beautiful resort somewhere and just relax. Do the spa. Read. You don't even have to do a whole bunch of Christmas things. But decide what your mood is, and then decide whether you want to go to a big city, you want to go to the mountains, veg out on the beach. Decide before you do it really what you're in the mood for. Because, we all know that holidays for some reason, and I mean, there's a good reason, but people become very emotional too during the holidays. So, if you are in the wrong place, it's not going to put you in a happy place or a happy mood. It's going to either aggravate you or make you even more, just feeling like, life is, I'm sad, and you don't want to do that. That's completely counterproductive to what this going somewhere for the holiday should be all about. So, pick your place, what I said, depend on your mood. What do you really feel like doing? I mean, Quebec just might sound horrible because you do not want to be around snow because you have to deal with snow too much in the winter anyway. Those are my tips.
Holidays can be magical. Packing for travel, not as magical. A packing list might help make your packing a little bit less stressful. You can get your own copy of Astrid's complimentary packing list. Just go to astridtravel.com, download the packing list. It's right there on the front page. This podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and really any of the finer places that podcasts can be found. We ask you to rate, review, and subscribe to this show. It really helps other solo travelers find this information and get on board the Solo Travel Talk train.
I'll just say thank you for tuning in, and do consider, if you are thinking about travel during the holiday season, do consider it, because it is really one of the most beautiful times of the year to travel solo.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Solo Travel Talk. Follow Astrid on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. To learn more about Astrid or Solo Travel Advisors, visit our website, astridtravel.com.